Hello, sellers. Hello, everyone. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the September Seller Check-in. Hello. Thank you for joining today. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi, Patty. How are you? It's so good to see you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the September Seller Check-in. We're so glad that you're joining us today. Hi, Kimberly. Look at everybody in the chat. Hi, Joe. Hello from Illinois. Oh, I grew up in Chicago. Hello, Illinois. Hi, Gary. Oh, I love seeing everybody say hello in the chat. Hello, Missouri. Hello, Atlanta. Hi, everybody. Oh, we're so glad to have you here. It's Salt Lake City. I see Texas. I see Tampa. Hi, everyone. Hi, Eric from Portland. Welcome to the September Seller Check-in. We're going to give it a few more minutes to let everybody join since we're only 1 minute after the virtual doors have opened. We'll give her
so fun.
Sorry, go ahead, Andrea.
No, I was going to say, it's so fun to see all these numbers click up so quickly. I love it. It's like the most exciting part of the day.
I know, and saying hello to everybody is so cool. Let's see. I see Deb. I see Chris from Tennessee. Oh, the Bronx in the house. Yeah. Hello, Denver. Oh my gosh, this is great. Just watching everybody join. All right, we'll give it just a couple more moments. Buffalo, yay, upstate New York. A couple of people from New York City. That's great. So as a reminder to everyone, please make sure that as you say hello in the chat, that you change that little blue menu, change it to everyone. Make sure that you're not just saying hello to hosts and panelists. Hosts and panelists are those of us up here on screen. Everyone means literally everyone. So make sure that you change that little toggle there for you. Hello from Mars. Mark, I think you get the joke of the day. Hello from the basement. Okay, now we're having some fun. This is great. Okay, I think we're about ready. To kick off our event today. So thank you everybody so much for being here. It is great to see you all. I hope that your fall is off to a fantastic start. And this is our first seller event since eBay Open Online in August. And I definitely want to say thank you to everybody who came to eBay Open Online. It was wonderful to see so many familiar faces there, but also a lot of new ones. So for everyone who attended, I hope it was a great experience for you, and we're happy to see you back again today. So for those who couldn't be at Open Online, I want to let you know that the entire keynote playlist is on our eBay for Business YouTube channel, and Stephanie should be putting that in the chat right now. It's a great opportunity after this event, stay with us, but after this event, it's a great opportunity to go back and watch any sessions you might have missed or to re-watch some that had a ton of really great tips and hints for your business. And for those who actually came on the day of, we also had a number of category breakouts. And that's where eBay experts discussed updates for particular categories. While we didn't record those, or not on our YouTube channel, we did have feedback that our collectibles audience wanted a broader update on the category beyond hearing about what was the latest with trading cards. So in response to that feedback, we've added an extra 30 minutes onto the end of today's session to get a more general update about collectibles. And we have collectibles experts that'll be joining just to talk to you about collectibles. Now, if you aren't in the main collectibles category, we'll let you know when the main program has concluded and you can drop off. On the other hand, if you do sell in collectibles or if you're just kind of curious about what's going on there, please do stick around. And we will also be popping up a survey that you can take in between those two sections. And just so that you know, we'll be hearing from Nicole Colombo, Senior Director and General Manager from Collectibles and Trading Cards, and then Steve Halupka, who is Senior Category Manager for Collectibles and Toys. These are the absolute experts here at eBay, and we're really excited to bring them to you today at the special session at the end. Now, a few housekeeping things before we jump into the program, if we can go to the next slide. All right, so for the agenda, you can see it there on the screen. But as I said earlier, for those of you who have just joined, make sure that if you're chatting in the chat, that you switch that toggle to say all panelists, to say everyone instead of all panelists and attendees. The chat is your chance to talk to fellow sellers, say hello, let us know where you're here from, whether it's Manhattan or Mars. And that's a place to connect with your fellow sellers. On the other hand, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A tab. If you ask questions that are specific to you or your business, anything that we can answer besides just conversation with fellow sellers, we're going to ask you to put it over in that Q&A instead. And that's because we have like 40 eBayers right here on the event who are here to answer your questions in real time on that chat. So make use of the Q&A, which is right next to the chat section on your screen. And then the other thing is that we will be saving a few questions to answer live at the end if we have time, and that will come at the end of this main section. And now on to the actual main event here. Our CMO and VP of Seller Community, Andrea Stairs, is here today to give an update on how we incorporate seller feedback. I think you guys will find this really interesting, and to introduce our speakers. And with that, Andrea, it's over to you.
Thanks, Rebecca. And let me add my thanks and welcome to everyone who's here attending yet another seller check-in. Really appreciate you joining us today. So the feedback loop, you hear us talk a lot about seller feedback. In August, a lot of you, in fact, more than 7,000 sellers gathered at eBay Open Online for 3 amazing days of updates and education and networking. And one thing that came through all the keynotes, and especially our CEO Jamie's, was the importance of seller feedback. And then Open was really followed quickly by another positive earnings update, where again, to the investor community, our most senior leaders expressed how important it is to have our sellers' support and their engagement in not only selling on the marketplace, but providing feedback about its functionality. So you hear us talk about the importance of seller feedback a lot, but Rebecca and I thought it would be good to tell you a little bit about the how of it all, how it all comes together. So Michael, if you want to give us the next slide. There are lots of different ways we receive and gather your feedback. Many of you send direct emails to me and many other leaders. I'm astairs@ebay.com, or you post on our community boards. A lot of you use social media as a way of telling us how you're feeling or responding to a change that we put out on the marketplace. Increasingly, as we release new product, we also have feedback capabilities built in to collect your feedback. And then finally, our customer support team is an invaluable source of feedback. But often when we're looking for feedback, we're either looking for very specific feedback about an experience, or it's feedback about a change that are still being planned or in the building stage. It's important that we gather your feedback at this stage, at the earlier stage before we launch something, so that we can use your feedback as part of that build stage, and make sure that what we release improves the marketplace for you and provides you with the support that you need. That's where the Expressions program comes in. It's a large and diverse group of sellers who've agreed to provide feedback on a range of topics on a confidential basis. So how do we use Expressions? Expressions is an opportunity for eBay teams across the organization, so from marketing to product to design, to gather your opinions and insights on a variety of topics that help us improve eBay's design, functionality, overall experience. So we may ask things like, why and how do you sell on eBay? How can we improve your selling experience? We also use Expressions to get really specific feedback. So it could be about how you use a particular feature, or what you think about a tool, or what we think is missing in an experience. And so that gives us really actionable feedback as we're developing the marketplace. So you may ask, who is in Expressions? So the Expressions group is made up of a random sample of sellers, so a representative sample, who have been invited to participate. We have expanded it from 5,000 sellers to now 15,000 sellers across the US and Canada, representing sellers of all sizes across all of our categories. And we use it to send quantitative surveys. So these are surveys where you can, where we send a lot of them and we can get data from them. So like X% of people say this and Y% of people say that. And then we also send qualitative panels and surveys. So these are things where we're looking for longer form feedbacks. We're looking for you to tell us something about how something works or how you're feeling about something. So there are monthly focus groups, there are one-on-one sessions, and often these sessions are all built around a specific topic. So someone on Michael's team, for example, might want to know something about stores. And so they will potentially create a group of sellers who either have a store at a certain level or who don't have stores so that they can have those conversations. We also have other kinds of established regular connections. So the product team uses flash feedback, which is a 15-minute session to provide input on really specific product changes. In order to be invited to expressions, you need to have your marketing messages turned on. And honestly, that's the only thing you need to do to qualify. And then we refresh the panel every year in Q1 or Q2. So if you've received an invitation, if you're looking, like keep an eye on your mailbox, and we can flip to the next slide, Michael. Keep an eye on your mailbox and see if you want to be watch for an invitation if you want to become an Expressions member. And thank you in advance for your feedback. And even if you're not an Expressions member, obviously your insights along with your feedback is incredibly helpful. It does help us create a modern and compelling marketplace for both buyers and sellers. And it's always with the goal of helping you generate higher traffic and sales. It really is true that the mantra that Jamie, Jordan, and all of us live by is that we succeed when you succeed. And so we need to know what you need to succeed and what's standing in your way. So again, thank you so much for all that you do to share your thoughts, expertise, and experience with us. And again, reach out anyway. And if you have a chance to become an Expression member, we'd love it if you could take advantage of that opportunity. Now on to the presentations we're sharing with you today. So first up, we have Michael Coutone, who's our Senior Director of Seller Experience, who's going to walk you through and provide demos on some of the key topics around listings and promotions and running your business. Elizabeth Rummel, General Manager of eBay Ads, is here to discuss how we're investing in advertising solutions to meet the needs of sellers of all sizes. And we've also added, as Rebecca mentioned, a special session on collectibles led by Nicole Colombo and Stephen Halupka. One final reminder, when we're already working on our October seller check-in event, we're planning to have some exciting retail and e-commerce experts to provide you with broader industry trends and insights. So stay tuned about that. We know that was a big hit at Open, and so we want to give you more of what you like to see. So thank you, everyone. So great to see you here. Again, keep an eye out for Expressions emails and definitely keep providing us your feedback. And with that, I will hand over to Michael. Michael, over to you.
Thanks, Andrea. Hi, my name is Mike Coutone, and I lead the Seller Experience product team for eBay. Today, I'm going to show you some exciting updates and demos on eBay Stores changes, a new feature for multi-user account access, coded coupons, and Terapeak, which is one of our research and performance tools. And excuse my voice, I have a little bit of laryngitis, so I apologize. So starting with stores, we've been working hard to improve our store experience this year, including that with the new Stores platform, we have stores on native apps for the very first time. And as such, I wanted to share with you the latest designs and features. We're excited that this new Stores platform has been rebuilt from the ground up on the technology side, which will make it easier for the eBay Stores team to make faster deployments and get features into your hands and the hands of your buyers quicker. Michael, next slide, please. So let me start with the new storefront. This is being rolled out globally as we speak. We've modernized the look of the storefront, improved the functionality for buyers, and created a new tab structure to help buyers easily navigate between sections. The shop tab that we're looking at now is the place to merchandise and highlight your inventory. The overall look of the storefront's been improved, but we've kept the same information and same assets. The same logo and billboard banner that you had before, that'll still appear on the new storefront. Next slide, Michael. Here's the About tab. This is meant to focus on who you are as a seller, give you a place to tell your story. The first release will include the About Us information and contact information. In the future, we'll have more tools and features to let you express your brand and talk about your business. Next slide, Michael. So we've rebuilt the store's search experience as well. It now includes all the benefits of the existing search experience on eBay. All the filters and all the tools that are included in the search results page when you search the eBay search bar will now appear for the store search for the very first time. All of your store categories will continue to appear on the storefront so buyers can navigate through your inventory more easily. So I've shown the new storefront and I've shown the new improved search. Now let's go deeper on the 4 new features that will be launching shortly. Next slide, Michael, please. So first up is visual category navigation. You'll have the ability to upload images next to your categories and display them as a strip on top of your stores. I call it a ribbon, but display them as a strip. Visual category navigation will give your buyers quick access and a more visual way to find your inventory connected to those categories. Next slide, please, Michael. Similar to your featured items today, we'll also give you the opportunity to curate your items into different modules. You can highlight to your buyers specific inventory that's been grouped into inventory modules. So for instance, my wife and I are both sellers. She sells fashion, I sell golf. I could break down inventory along those lines if I wanted to in those modules. Next slide, Michael, please. The marketing banner. This is a bold image meant to draw the attention of your buyers. In phase one of this product, you can upload an image and you can link it to an item or to a category. And next slide, Michael, please. Finally, stores policies. This will give you an opportunity to highlight your business policies in one easy place. This will give buyers one place to go learn more about your business, your operations, and what to expect. So that's a quick overview of the storefront and new features launching that I'm really excited about. Every storefront owner should be really excited about. We look forward to hearing your feedback and continue to evolve this alongside that journey with you. So next slide, Michael, I'm going to move on to MUAA, as we call it, multi-user account access. It's a new security feature we want to talk about. And if you aren't familiar with MUAA, it gives you the opportunity to add delegates to your account so other people can help you with your selling tasks. We've added a lot of new permissions since MUAA launched a few years ago, as you can see on this screen. And I'd love to remind everyone of the list of options that you can now delegate. We've launched with the first 2 options on the list. And as you can see, we have 8 permission options to help you manage your business. Today, I want to share a recent change, as I talked about, that now all MUAA delegate accounts need to have 2FA enabled to log on to their eBay account. We made this change because we want to ensure trust and security for you as the seller. If that delegate or the delegate that you're offering up the account to has an existing eBay account that doesn't have 2FA enabled, when they get the email inviting them to be a delegate, they must enable 2FA before they could accept the invite. We hope that this added security measure provides you as large sellers more trust, more confidence to manage and delegate tasks to your team. So far in our MUAA journey, we have 8 delegate permissions and we'll continue to add more based on your feedback. If you don't use MUAA and you have a team of employees or considering having extra help, strongly encourage you to try it out. Thank you, Michael. So with that, I'm going to take over the screen and ask for control. And I'm going to take you through some live demos and changes we've made to coded coupons, which a lot of you are using, and to Terapeak research. Can everyone see my screen?
Michael, no, we're not seeing your screen yet.
How about now?
Yeah, we see it now. Thanks.
That's great. Let me just. So what you see says Seller Hub, correct?
It does, yeah.
Okay, great. So the first thing I'm going to show you is coded coupons, right? So I'm in the marketing tab. If you land in the top panel, it's going to have a big blue button that says launch a coupon. So we have a couple of new ingress points that talk to you and help you learn about what coded coupons do and how to launch a coupon. If you go past that blue button and actually land in create a promotion, when you pull down this box, it'll also say coupon new and you create one. I'm going to jump across to the screen I started to create before that I created a draft on, right? So if I click on this little button here that says coupon new, it's going to land me right in this page. So as my wife sells fashion, I sell golf, I decide I want to run a little sale on some of my inventory. So I created a coupon code. This is what my buyer, what my buyers will get. Golf 3672. 36 and 36 equals 72, a perfect golf score. I don't know if anyone knew that, but that's why I wrote it like that. And the offer name, right? This is for me, right? This the buyers won't see this. 15% off all my golf inventory. And then and you can see on the right-hand side, I'll keep coming back to this, but we created this anchor. So as you build the coupon, this anchor page will sit there so you can see exactly what you're creating. And you want to review this before you launch the coupon or save it as a draft. So in this case, it's Golf 3672. I've decided to give it a name. So that's my records. And here's the first key decision you're going to make. Is this going to be private or public? Are you going to launch this with a social, an email? You're going to put in a packing slip? You're going to send it via an SIO, a seller initiated offer. There's a lot of ways you can go to specific buyers and thank them or say, I want you to use this coupon, right? It's like someone giving you a card and say, walk into Olive Garden, you get 20% off with this card, right? It's a personalized coupon. Public coupon, everyone can see. So if I put my golf inventory on sale, everyone can see that coupon saying, for a limited time, you get 15% off this item from this seller. And in this case, I'm going to use public coupon. So I scroll down and it says discount type. I've already chosen 15. I think it defaults to 20, but I can change this very easily. We show you the top 3 most used ones, right? So 20% off on more than 3, or extra $10 if you spend more than this. If I click on show more, you can see there's a lot of combinations. This is all based on feedback and talking to you as our largest sellers, right? So you get all these combos, but we start with the 3 most common. I'm going to take the most common one. I'm just going to offer 15% flat off my inventory. And then I'm going to say, I'm selling actually a putter right now for a lot of money. So I'm going to say $200 is the max savings you can get on any of my sales, right? All the eyes will give you little tooltips on what they mean. Max redemptions per buyer, that's pretty straightforward. I'm going to say you can redeem this coupon 1 time. And then when I scroll down, you can set a budget. I'm not going to set a budget, but you could put a limit on how much margin you have for the coupon. And so that's a good feature as well. Item eligibility. This is where you can really dive in and decide how you want to set your coupons up. Specific items. So I could say, I want to put, certain items on sale, my 12 items, and my wife, Linda, wants to put these, these pieces of fashion on sale. But in this case, I'm going to say specific eBay category because I'm just putting the golf on sale. I'll choose categories. And you can see it's sporting goods is checked because I was starting to work on this coupon before. If I scroll down, it checks golf. I have one other sporting goods item for sale. I think it might be a pair of rollerblades. I have to check, but I'm going to put these 12 items on sale. Include category. And now my 12 items should be on sale. Yep, golf. It's selected golf. And you see, so golf is now, it's applied to my golf category or my golf items, which are 12. And then as I scroll down, I can also add a description. So when people see the coupon, it's going to say 15% off all my golf inventory. And I can add a photo. So this is a head cover I'm selling from Callaway. I'll grab that and I'm pretty much done. I'm not going to launch this coupon right now. I'm going to say there's a draft, but remember that anchor, right? That anchor you can see, I don't have to scroll for it. It follows you, right? So it says, Mike, you've set up a public coupon, extra 15% off, maximum savings of $200 per coupon, 1 use per buyer, applies to selected items. The 12 I selected, I have to start listing golf. I'm down to 12 and applies to selected item. And it starts September 30th, ends October 31st. That was down here, right? You saw that where you schedule a start time. I didn't scroll deep enough. I apologize. And then that's it, right? You're off and running and you have your coupon built. The uptake from our sellers has been fantastic. Everyone's enjoying using it. And if you haven't used it or tried it, strongly encourage you to. So with that, I'm going to jump into Terapeak. A lot of users know about Terapeak, but I want to talk to you about a few new things that we've released on the Terapeak platform in terms of guidance, pricing guidance, sourcing guidance, and research, and how you use it. A lot of what you see here is you've seen before. I've set up a search. This is a putter I'm about to list. Actually, I listed it yesterday, but I'll go through. Imagine if I had 2 pieces, I'm going to list the second one. Scotty Cameron Champion's Choice putter. It's a collectible. Only 6,000 pieces made. Every August, Scotty comes out with new collectible, tour inspired. It's like a tour putter, but not quite $8,000, more like in the $600 map, and typically on eBay, 1,000 or more, right? Because they become collectible in their short supply. So I can set up my condition filters. Those have always been there. All these pills have been there. I want to talk about some new ones though. But before I go there, you see where it says show sales trends. Based on your feedback, we've locked that into the on position. A lot of sellers have said, we love these charts. Please turn them on by default. If you turn them off, it just pushes the inventory to the top. If you turn it on, it just has the charts before the inventory, whether it be active or sold. But this chart is telling me, like, you can see this putter was released late July, and you can see when it comes out, it gets a lot of money. Then it kind of wanes on these collectibles, and it pops up as they become more scarce. Right? All these charts are not new. You've seen them before. Total sold, trend line, total sold, average price and total sold. I'm not going to go through every chart. The key here is your feedback said, we love these. Can you default it on? And we have. If you want to turn it off, just click the pill and it comes off, but they're defaulting the on position. The other change we've made, all these filters are largely there, new. used format filter. I want to only see auction or fixed price, price filters, etc. The big new one is this. In certain categories, you may only want to see listings from top rated sellers. You may want to see, like, and for whatever reason, you might think that that their price band is really tight and really narrow. They know the collectible area really well. It could be a variety of reasons. It's your choice, right? We've just basically said you could exclude top rating or show only top rating. In this case, if I said show only top rating, it's going to show 21, and that's a smaller subsection. But that's a new feature, yours to use if you decide to use it. Now, moving on to the next piece of Terapeak is sourcing insights. Everyone that has a store gets this page, right? So you will always see Terapeak no matter what. But if you have a store, you'll see under Seller Hub, scroll up, you'll see this piece that says sourcing insights. If you have a store, you'll always get this. These first two tabs have always been there, right? This is going to basically say, Linda and Mike, you sell fashion, you sell golf. You might want to start looking for glove head covers. You might want to start looking for grips, because we know you sell a lot of clubs, but grips are actually doing well. And the opportunity score is based on a matrix of search volume, active listings, all the things you see to the right. And you can rank these. So I can say in all the categories I sell, women's handbags, so my wife has a couple for sale, women's handbags have the highest search volume. So that may want to tell Linda, let me go source some more handbags, right? But we're also combining the opportunity score with other things. So it's just telling you, based on what we see you sell, where you can go do other things and maybe sell some grips, sell some head covers. That's been there. And this has been here too, search and browse. So if I really wanted to see golf, if I was a newbie to golf, which I'm not, but if I scroll down to sporting goods and I click into golf here, you're going to see if I go to golf clubs and where am I? Golf clubs and equipment, and I go to golf clubs proper, you can see that it's basically telling me, Mike, it's all about TaylorMade, Callaway, Titleist, and Ping. If you have those, the impressions are off the charts, right? And then I can dive into what's selling the most, the club head, the driver, etc. So these pieces have been there. Encourage you to use them. They're exciting. But the one that's really exciting for me is this new addition, top categories. So this is talking to you about what you may not sell, right? A lot of you are wed, or that your business is built around a certain category, and that's fine. But some of you are not wed to particular categories, or you truly sell long tail. And if you do, this can help you decide where you want to go next, or where the puck is moving and where you might want to go next, because we're presenting the top categories based on those same columns that I talked about. I could rank by the matrix opportunity score, okay? But I could also rank by search volume. So in the top 30 eBay categories that this is ranking, vinyl records right now, trading cards have the highest search count. If I rank to search to listing ratio, which is an interesting number, my category golf is really good. It's number 4. If I rank sell-through rate, golf is number 4 again, great sell-through rate. This one I also find very interesting, market share. This basically tells you the share of the market owned by 10% of the sellers in this category. So how hard or easy it is to kind of participate in the category. The one that I find very striking is this. In cases and covers and skins for cell phones, 10% of the sellers control 99% of the listings, basically, of the GMV. So that might be a tougher category to break into. Golf's actually one of the easier ones, and I do well at it. I'm a small B2C seller, a small business seller. So we're really excited about this page because it really gives you the ability to say, where's the puck moving? Do I want to add to my long tail? Do I want to actually branch out into other categories? This helps you with that because it's not about your inventory. It's about all inventory, where the first two is about your inventory or analysis of your inventory. And then the last thing I want to talk about is I talked to my team a lot about this, where we want to bring Terapeak to the user. We want to bring price guidance and price analysis to the user. A lot of times you'll go to Terapeak, you're not listing yet, you're just doing research, you're doing sourcing, and that's great. And you should do that. But there's also times where you're listing, and at the moment where you're listing, it might be something new. You might have not done research yet. And we don't want you to have to leave the listing flow and jump into Terapeak. So you can see I'm in the listing tool here. I'm using our new listing tool. You can see at the top right, it says switch to classic view. I only use the new one. I strongly encourage everyone to use the new one. I love it. It's great. I use it every day. And I'll talk more about that later. But as I scroll down, I haven't put photos in for this item yet, but I have described it. It's the same putter. I listed one yesterday. I will maybe list another one as I source these. but Scotty Cameron Champion's Choice, Newport button back, 35 inches right hand. As I scroll down, you can see it adopted all those specifics for me because it pulled them off my title. Kind of ready to go. There's nothing else I really want to say here. Those specifics are perfect. And as I scroll down, I've picked the condition used because it is slightly used, but it's almost brand new, but it's used. And I'll describe it as such, mint condition, flawless, etc. Well, because I said used, it's now going to pull, it would pull two different things based on the condition I gave it. You'll see this form in the older listing tool as well, but the workflow and the UI and the new listing tool to me is night and day. Like we're really bringing Terapeak to the user. So this ribbon, we call it SIM, stands for Competitive Insights Module. This is telling you in the last 90 days, this putter has an average sold price of this for used, and it has 17% of sales with free shipping. Now I could adopt that price. I could put it straight into buy it now, or however I want to set up my format, auction, what have you. But if I go to sold listings and I'm not quite sure, when I do a little more research, I click in here and basically it's saying, okay, same pills. What keywords do you want to include? Do you want to include sold listings? Is it used or new? How many days? What's the price range? All the stuff you saw in Terapeak's been brought here in this superimposed flyout. And then you same thing down here. You can invoke the charts. You can uninvoke the charts. You can sort by most sold or highest average sold price, all of these. So for instance, I know this category really well. And to me, that number feels a little bit high, not a lot high, a little bit high. So let me see the keywords that were grabbed off the title. Oh, okay. I really want to, the Newport is the model, but this collectible is the champion's choice. So I want to add those two keywords. And if I apply that, that's a great number because I listed mine at a little higher, 950. I might send some SIOs depending on the watchers. I have a few watchers, but that number is spot on. So you can see the lowest sale on this, 700. The highest sale, probably mint to practically new, shop worn, 1125. So with one little change, I was able to tweak the number even more to be more accurate by including more keywords. So again, bringing Terapeak to the user, right? That's the mantra I use with my team. More ingress points you can get to Terapeak access without having to go over to the Terapeak destination, which we still want you to use. It's going to be great and it saves you time. So in closing, I just wanted to reiterate that we really would encourage everyone to, I started with this, I just want to close with this. Please try the new listing tool. It's shown in the numbers that we are able to track. You're providing more aspects. You're getting your listings completed faster. I think it's on average, sellers provide 2 more aspects when they use this tool because it's so simple. All the aspects are right here. You grab them, you click them, we extract them from the title. If you list faster. So we really encourage you to use this. It's going to be what we're rolling out with next year as we start to ramp sellers into this. Right now, it's completely optional, topped in. As I said, I use nothing but this. Really encourage everyone to use it. So with that, I'm going to just do a quick wrap. And lastly, I just wanted to thank everyone for their time today, right? We're excited for these changes. I hope you enjoyed seeing more details on the recent store improvements and how coded coupons can help you bring in more buyers and the powerful data that Terapeak can provide your business or provide for your business. Now, just as a reminder, with Seller Update, the item-specific changes announced in the 21.2 Seller Update will be taking place the week of October 12th. The main impacts for you as sellers are the following. I have 3 main things I want to cover. Required soon. These signals will be seen where applicable in our listing and seller management tools. But don't worry, we will not require these until early 22. So you can focus on your holiday sales in Q4. Second, category changes will start affecting the categories detailed out in the recent fall seller update. There are a lot of details, so someone will add the link to the chat here, which has all the category changes. Please note that your listings might be temporarily impacted when we start moving, adding, and removing categories. This is to be expected. We heard your concerns from earlier this year, and we'll be increasing the messaging when you edit your listing or through our social channels. Now, what does that really mean to you? If you happen to be making changes to your listing in a category that is being updated during that week of October 12th, you will see messaging in the listing tool that will tell you that for a temporary time, you might see some irregularities. As I noted, this is to be expected. It'll sort itself out. And please check the community board for real-time updates and watch for more communications the week of October 12th. So that's a wrap. I know that was a lot to cover. I hope you're excited as I am And I wanted to thank everyone today again for your time. And now I'll hand it off to Elizabeth to share changes about promoted listings.
Thanks, Michael. That was great. I was just telling someone yesterday, I have a Scotty Cameron putter sitting in my storage room somewhere, so I should go check that out and see if it's actually worth anything.
I can help you sell it.
Good. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Rommel, and I'm the general manager for eBay Ads. And I'm excited to be here today to share more about our advertising portfolio. So with that, let's get started. Next slide. Advertising technology is really a key part of our tech-led reimagination. Our goal is just to build simple, data-driven products and tools that continually learn and improve to drive efficiency and effectiveness. Our vision for advertising technologies is to help buyers discover products and in turn, help our sellers grow their business. We continue to invest in this area, and as Andrea mentioned, your feedback is welcome, and it's really critical to build the products that meet your needs. Next slide, please. As many of you know firsthand, Promoted Listings Standard has been helping buyers find the right products through impressions in search results and merchandising placements for 7 years now. In Q2 alone, over 1 million sellers leveraged the product across 430 million listings, and on average saw double-digit returns. Promoted Listing Standards is a unique product to eBay, and we're happy to continue to deliver this risk-free tool to our community. Next slide. To build on this advertising offering, we also heard from sellers that while the average return was strong, for some listings, the ability to control when and where promoted ads showed up was also important. Today, I'm excited to share more details on the additions of Promoted Listings Advanced and Promoted Listings Express to our ads portfolio, and to announce that going forward, our original product will be branded as Promoted Listings Standard. So starting with Promoted Listings Standard, we'll continue to offer impressions across the eBay network for fixed price listings, where sellers pay the cost per sale only when the item is sold. You have the control to set the ad rate that's right for your business, to determine which items to list, and to make modifications as your business changes. It's ideal for listings that are relevant across page types and categories, and the broad visibility you're seeing will continue. I like to think of this as an always-on foundational product that really, when I ask the question of my own listings, I would think, why wouldn't I want to list something with Promoted Listings? It increases visibility and, again, risk-free, paying only when the item sells. Promoted Listings Express was developed for an auction-style listing on the eBay app. The pricing is really simple. For a set fee, the item receives increased exposure through the auction period. And this is to support the goal of improving auction views, bids, and sales. This is available to everyone today. And finally, in September, we opened the beta for Promoted Listings Advanced to all eligible sellers. Promoted Listings Advanced is not meant to replace Promoted Listings Standard, but to give sellers another option to increase impressions on the high converting top of search slot. Campaigns are driven by the keywords you choose to target at a daily budget that you control. Promoted Listings Advanced is based on a cost per click model, also for fixed price listings, meaning when a potential buyer clicks on your ad, a fee is charged for that click. Next slide, please. Going a bit deeper on Promoted Listings Advanced, I know some of you are wondering and have been asking, is Promoted Listings Advanced the right product for you? There's really no formula, but I want to share a few considerations based on early adopter successes. A good starting point is to evaluate your experience running cost per click models on other platforms like Google or Amazon, Etsy, or Facebook. One reason we built Promoted Listings Advanced was sellers asked for tools to accelerate velocity and leverage learnings from other channels. PL Advanced allows you to use those learnings, including keyword strategies, bid levels, and optimization strategies, while testing and learning with eBay's unique audience. Next, think about keyword relevancy, listing quality, and search popularity for your unique inventory. New or trending products that are well priced will stand out at the top of search, and this will accelerate sales. Also, using the right keywords can give you awareness during seasonal shopping moments like fall decor or gift giving holidays. So again, Promoted Listings Advanced can really augment what you're doing with Promoted Listings Standards by focusing on some of these high volume, highly relevant products that again can benefit from the top of search slot. Next slide, or actually this is the right slide. Go back, please. Promoted Listings Advanced Best Practices. So if your goals and product are a good fit, the next step is to look at these best practices. First, a strong keyword list that's highly relevant to the item you're selling is important. We recommend at least 10 to 15 keywords per item, and those keywords can be selected based on eBay's recommendations and or from your own keywords known to convert from prior data. Second, bid competitively. Through the campaign setup, you'll see a suggested bid, and this is a great place to start. The suggested bid takes into account multiple factors, and this may change depending on inputs like seasonality and competition. Each click fee charged is based on a second price auction, which means the final fee charged will be determined by factors like listing quality, keyword relevance, your bid amount, what other sellers are bidding, and a reserve price, which is the minimum amount that we deemed a click is worth. So this means your actual cost will likely be adjusted. So think of the bid as an upper limit. As we're still very early in this product rollout, sellers have noted that less competition for clicks means lower clearing prices. So it really is a great time to test and learn. Third, make sure all your listings are high quality. I know many of you know that when the buyer lands on your view item page, it's critical to make that conversion. So best practices like multiple images, clear item descriptions, a clear return policy, and a competitive price are crucial. And finally, organize your campaign into different ad groups. This serves a few purposes, including making optimization easier, being able to test different strategies, and really making sure you're limiting those ad groups to highly relevant keywords. And that gives the campaign and the listing a better chance of surfacing. Next slide. So now I'd like to share an early success story. The perfect part is a family-owned business who's been selling on eBay for 10 years. And they were already using the Promoted Listings Advanced product, or sorry, the Promoted Listings Standard product. So they wanted to try out what PLA was all about. The owners, Adam and Corey, and their team set up multiple ad groups using high keyword to item ratios and optimized the groups for relevancy based on the initial results. As you can see from the slide, the results were impressive. The early returns showing a 66% increase in daily sales velocity, a 44% increase in impressions, 86% increase in clicks, and a 5-to-1 return on ad spend, or ROAS. Next slide. Now let's talk about getting started. Seller Hub is your starting point for both PL Standard and PL Advanced campaigns. By clicking on the advertising dashboard under the marketing tab, you'll have the opportunity to jump right in and create a new campaign using the button shown in this graphic. For PL Express, this is activated through the listing flow. Seller Hub is also the home for your advertising dashboard, which will show you daily results of campaigns and other reporting, such as search queries, which can really help you plan and decide what to do next. Next slide. So just this week, we had an exciting announcement of the Ads Academy, and it's a tool to help and learn and discover in the advertising space. It's a self-paced e-learning module platform that includes modules, dozens of tutorials, articles, and answers to frequently asked questions. Through the Ads Academy, you can find everything from a step-by-step tutorial of how to set up a new campaign to more advanced modules on advanced optimization strategies. We'll continue to add content to the Ads Academy, so bookmark this page as a go-to key resource. Next slide. Additionally, Seller Center will continue to provide detailed overviews on all of our advertising products and is also a great resource that we'll keep updated. A new unique area that we're trying with Promoted Listings Advanced is a dedicated seller community. The community can be found within community boards, and it's a great place both to ask and answer questions, specifically around Promoted Listings Advanced. We hope that all of you will join us there and both partake in putting new questions out there and helping your community find the right answers and the right solutions for them. Next slide. So finally, I know that we shared a lot of information today, and there are a lot of new opportunities to digest. I haven't been able to present and pay attention to the chat, but I can see that there is a lot of interest and a lot of information. And what we want to do is to put all of this information in an email with easy links so that you can click right to everything from Ads Academy to frequently asked questions. So for those of you that are interested, please send an email to promotedlistings@ebay.com, the email address up on the screen, and we will make sure that you are on the mailing list for that go-to resource. In addition, for those who email, we will enter you into a drawing for a 1-hour consultative session with our advertising experts. And we hope that both of these will be a great kickoff to get you started and educated on our advertising products. So thank you so much for your time today. I hope you've learned a bit about our offerings and look forward to hearing your feedback. Now I'll turn it back over for our Q&A break.
Elizabeth, thank you so much. Michael, thank you as well. Such great content today, and I hope sellers that everything that we covered was really useful. Those new store updates are amazing. So Michael, thank you for that. But Elizabeth and Michael, stick around because we do have some questions from the audience that we want to ask you to answer live here on camera. But first, I just want to say the biggest thank you to all of you sellers. You know, we're here to be your strong partners to help enable your business and to provide you with the tools and information that you need to run your business. And this event is just one example of that. We have so many channels where you can reach out and learn from your fellow sellers, learn from those of us here at eBay, and especially thank you for taking time out of your busy days to be here at the event. So now we'll go into the Q&A, and a reminder to hang on after the Q&A, and because we're going to share a survey. We hope everyone will answer it. We look at those surveys, we read them very carefully, and we use them to help improve and change these events every time that we produce them. They're really valuable feedback for us. I'll talk a little bit more about feedback in a minute. But first, Elizabeth, if you're still here, I have a question for you from the audience. And one question about Promoted Listing Advanced that we were asked is, do listings that are promoted by Promoted Listings Advanced, do they appear any differently than other listings on the site?
Thanks, Rebecca. No, they don't. Both Promoted Listings and Advanced and Promoted Listings Standard and Promoted Listings Express all have the sponsored tag right under under the listing, I believe, but there's no difference in the way they appear. So this will be, whether it's standard or advanced, the listing will appear the same. Okay,
great, thank you. And then we have another follow-up question for you from your session, which is, will promoted pay-per-click really affect collectible sellers? We've got a lot of collectible sellers on today. And really the nut of the question here is, unless you're a large company, pay-per-click or Promoted Listings Advanced is not a feasible option. So just wondering if you can talk to us a little bit about how a seller can decide whether they want to use Promoted Listings Advanced or one of the other options that you shared with us today.
Sure. So as I mentioned in the presentation, there's no one size fits all answer. It really does depend on your business goals, experience, and what products you're selling. But to address the collectibles question, there also is not one category fit. And if I think about collectibles, there are very relevant keywords related to collectible items that will help that item surface at the top of search. And when you think about a pay-per-click model versus a cost per sale model, it really can be economical depending on the price of the item. So for example, if it's a high-priced item, and even if your ad rate is at 1%, that will end up taking from your margin. With the pay-per-click model, you can also drive visibility and more interest in that product at a very low CPC. And as you probably know from other marketplaces, from industry research, cost per click fees are usually in the sub $2 range. And right now on eBay, even much lower than that. So if you're thinking about driving visibility for a collectible item, particularly something that is in the news, something where there is query demand for that type of item, the Promoted Listings Advanced option can help your item stand out in search. That said, I would recommend that you do that with Promoted Listings Standard, as the breadth that you get from the standard product showing up on view item pages, showing up throughout search results, can also really help drive that broad visibility. Hopefully that answers the question, but again, it's difficult to say that there's one size. And we've seen, I mean, when I look at the early data, there are sellers in all different categories that are coming back day after day, investing in the pay-per-click model. And it's maybe a little bit counterintuitive to what I expected, where we know that high volume seasonal new items might be a really good fit, but we've absolutely seen many listings cross category.
Great. Thank you so much for sticking around. We might have another question for you, so hang on the line if you will. So I'm going to turn to a question that came out of what Andrea said earlier about eBay expressions and the way that we listen to our sellers and hear your feedback. So as Andrea said, we take feedback in a lot of ways, formal and informal. Expressions is an important part of that process, and it's a really important program because it lets us really get scientific about it. But we also listen via the seller community at community.ebay.com. We take in feedback from the eBay for Business Facebook page. There's a lot more research studies than expressions. That's just one piece of the overall pie and understanding the feedback and what's most important to you, our sellers. And of course, via customer service, there's also a lot of understanding and listening to what sellers have to say and hearing your feedback. And then we're also going to put a link in the chat to a page that it says unsolicited feedback, but really it's very solicited feedback. I'm here to solicit it from you. So please read through that page, understand that there's probably some guardrails, but we want to hear everything that you have to say. So we'll make sure that link is in the chat. It's a long, complicated link, but bear with us, please. And that's a great place to share feedback as well. And so please keep telling us what you think. We'll even save the chat here and read through it later and make sure that everyone across eBay who has comments that's relevant to the work that they do, that we share that around. So please keep telling us what you think, because it's one of the best ways that we show up for our partnership with you, the sellers, as you run and grow your business. So now we have a question for Michael. Michael, I think you're still here. And the question that we have here is, where does the coupon show up to the customer when it's listed as public? So questions about coupons. Can you talk us through that?
Sure. Thanks, Rebecca. So the public coupons, they show up in the item pages, as I noted before, and it has a dedicated destination page that buyers can visit. So when the buyer sees the item page, if you do a search and click on there, the coupon will be right on there. You know, for this limited time until this date, you can take 15% off this item.
Great. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
And now I'm going to take one more question, that is about the timing for item specifics. So I noticed a bunch of people were asking about the item specifics and why are we making changes during Q4, during holiday? Don't we know that holiday is the busiest season? And yes, we absolutely know that that is the busiest season for many sellers in many categories. But you know, we do this very thoughtfully, just like we did last year. We are letting sellers know that this change is coming early, and that'll be in mid-October, I believe is the date. And you can start making item-specific changes then, but they aren't yet required. This is your chance to get a jump on it. We know holiday is busy, absolutely. So, you know, get started if you can, but you'll also have plenty of time after the holiday season. We're trying to give as big a window as possible for these item-specific changes. And, you know, the other benefit here is that, you know, if you do have the chance to make the time, adding those item specifics now, or, you know, as soon as you're prompted to, that could even increase your listings visibility, or it should do, during the holiday season. So it's not that we're trying to, you know, make your holiday season even busier. It's that we're trying to open up this opportunity to you the soonest possible. And then again, you will have time after the holiday season to complete that process. And then we have one last question. Elizabeth, this one is for you. And this question is from Kathy. And this is a great question. I'd love to hear the answer myself. So this question is, how is the team, your team, going to keep an eye on and hopefully prevent some of the keyword spamming for promoted listings advanced? Tell us about how you keep things, you know, safe. Thanks.
Sure. So I see that my colleague Josie has jumped on, and I'm going to let her give some details on this as she has the latest. But I do want to address that our proprietary detection software, it really is something that we invested in upfront. And the idea that competitors clicking frequently or robots, et cetera, like all of that has been taken into account. And it's one reason why there's a lag from the time that clicks are detected to when you see them show up in your account. But with that, Josie, I will hand over to you for some more details.
Yes, thanks, Elizabeth. So as Elizabeth mentioned, we do have proprietary. It's actually looking for these clicks in real time. It takes us a little bit of time to then process that back through the system, hence the delays, but we've made a ton of investments in our real-time invalid traffic monitoring. And for the closed beta that we ran over the summer, we actually did not see any escalations. And what that tells us is that we believe that our real-time filters are doing what they are supposed to be doing. That being said, we do have an internal process for any suspicious traffic that you as a seller may be seeing, and you can escalate that through our customer service team, and they will then escalate it internally to us, at which point we'll do a manual review. This process was in place for our beta, and actually nobody took us up on it, which I think is great news for us, that our filters are doing everything that we expected them to be doing.
Thank you. Thanks, Josie. Thanks, Elizabeth, so much for being here. And then I have one last question to answer, which is this session going to be recorded? Can everyone here watch it again? Can people who maybe couldn't be here today watch it? And the answer to that is yes. It will be available on our YouTube channel, the eBay for Business YouTube channel, early next week. So look for it there. We'll definitely post, for example, on Facebook and let you know that it's been posted. And so keep an eye out for that. And with that, we are just about ready to wrap up this section of the event. And we will be moving on to get ready for collectibles. Excuse me. Now, listen, we're also going to post some of the questions that were asked and answered in the Q&A tab in the community board. And that link is also going in the chat. And so you can read some of the questions and answers that were written today in the Q&A section. So please come on over to the eBay community, join in your fellow sellers and see the questions that were asked and answered. Now that is everything for the general section today, and we're going to pop a survey on your screen. I think right now, oh, there it is. I see it. Please answer it. We'd love to hear what you think about this event and what your opinions are. And, if you'd like to recommend the event, if you're satisfied. I personally read every single one of these answers. So thank you so much for taking the time to answer the survey. And then we're going to move into the collectibles breakout. But first, let me thank Andrea, Michael, and Elizabeth for being here. Again, we will be sharing this recording. And with that, I think we are ready to move over to the collectibles section. And let me please introduce Nicole Colombo, who is our general manager for collectibles and trading cards, and she's going to kick it off. So Nicole, I think I saw you here, and it should be over to you.
Thanks, Rebecca. I am here, and I'm happy to be here. I heard we have a lot of collectible sellers here today, which is awesome. So thank you all for joining. And we've got Steve Halupka on my team who leads collectibles and toys. He's our senior category manager for collectibles and toys, and he's been with this company almost as long as I have, so a little over 5 years. So we both have learned a lot about the various collectible categories, and we're thrilled to be here to chat with you guys. And when we speak about collectibles, I just want to level set what we're talking about, because that can mean a lot of different things. We are talking about the various categories that make up what we call collectibles at eBay, which includes comics, coins, memorabilia. I'm looking at my notes because we have so many. Collectible toys, trading cards, stamps, and then a lot of additional categories, Tabacchiana, Disneyana, etc. So like the vast scope kind of rolls up into what we call collectibles. So it's a huge portion of the categories and of the business at eBay. And so we really value all of our sellers in this category tremendously. Next slide, please. All right, so today, Steve is going to walk you through a lot of this, and then we will do some Q&A at the end, and we have a few other really knowledgeable people on the collectibles team to answer additional questions that you guys have. But first, we're going to talk about just a state of the union, some fun facts about what's going on in the business and trends that we're seeing at a high level. We're going to give you some updates that are specific to collectibles categories. We're going to talk about some best practices. A lot of you probably already know this, but there's always new suggestions of ways to enhance your listings and ways to stand out. And then talk about some future things we have coming up, such as holiday moments and different activations that we want to share with you. So with that, I'm going to pass it along to Steve.
Cool. Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate it. Excited to be here and chat with all of our collectible sellers and others who decide to stay on the call. So obviously, a lot of the collectibles categories have seen a ton of success since the pandemic hit in 2020, and now continuing into 2021. One of the first ones that we've seen really come to the forefront has been the collectible coin space. As you can see from our little chart there, we've seen a 30% year-over-year growth in the collectible coins category, as folks haven't been able to get that tactile feel of going to their coin shops and trade shows. They've actually been flocking to eBay to find those coins, either for investment purposes or to complete their collections. Next slide, please. We've seen an even bigger growth in the comic space as well, up 66% year over year, which seems like an amazing number, and it is. We've really seen, again, that investor and collector mindset as comic book shops have typically been closed in brick and mortar for a vast majority of the pandemic. Those same brick and mortar comic book shops are selling on eBay. We actually have about 90% of all brick and mortar comic book shops selling on eBay. So we are definitely here to help promote their small businesses into ones that we can grow to even larger and greater heights. Next slide, please. And finally, toys. So again, toys, another massive year-over-year growth, up 48% year-over-year. And we'll dig into some of those subcategories, which are seeing the most growth in a little bit. But toys, as folks weren't able to get to the toy store, and a lot of people were buying toys and outdoor play structures when they couldn't go on vacation during the pandemic, we saw some of that benefit here on eBay as well. Next slide, please. And this is just a nice chart for everybody, just to kind of see the overall breakout of toys and what makes up the totality of the toys category. So first and foremost, action figures and accessories. You can see some of our big heavy hitters there with Transformers and Marvel Legends, WWE Elite figures. Also some really high priced items in demand between Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! But we also have really strong businesses in die-cast, radio control, model trains, and games. Really strong bits that kind of make up the totality of the toys category. Next slide, please. So as we got into 2021, wanted to give an update about obviously some of the things that we've launched this year. The first, eBay Standard Envelope, the expansion of that into coins, currency, postcards, and stamps. So we really have seen some great acceptance of this new tool for folks to be able to ship out their low-priced items, $20 and under for a single item, and then multiple items up $50 and under. Obviously, there are some requirements that go along with eBay Standard Envelope. Can't have anything that's certified or graded in there. Nothing that can be really more than a 1/4 inch thick, and it has to be less than 3 ounces. But to ship some of your low-priced items out to buyers with tracking, it's actually one of our best services that we do provide. I use this service myself. I sell trading cards on the site. I use this nearly every day when I'm shipping out my low-value trading cards, and I absolutely love the service. I think it's been a really great addition to the collectibles categories. Next slide, please. Also, as we got into the early part of 2021, bullion, coins and paper money migrated over to managed payments. And with that, we actually started to take a look at our fee structures in these categories, which we'll do from time to time. How can eBay become more competitive if we need to be in certain categories? So we made a pretty drastic rate change in a lot of these categories in coins and paper money and also bullion. So coins and paper money, of course, you can see here, we're at 8.5%, and it's kind of a tiered structure. So I'll break down kind of what the tiers look like as well, where the 8.5% in coins and paper money is for an item that sells for $4,000 or less. And if an item goes for $4,000 or more, we actually cut that cost, and the end seller is only paying 2.35% for the amount of that item, that single item over $4,000. So looking to become more competitive, especially in the higher price points in the coin and paper money space. And then in bullion, we realized there was certainly an opportunity to be more competitive in the marketplace here as well. So we're down to 7% all in, including payment fees for any item under $1,500 or less. And then from $1,500 to $10,000, we're at 5%. And then from 10% and above, we're at 4.5%. We know in some of these categories, the margins are very thin from our sellers. We've heard that feedback from going to trade shows and speaking with some of our sellers on a regular basis. We wanted to make sure that we listened to you and we implemented these changes. Next slide, please. So listening and promoting, as many of you I'm sure are aware, when we rolled out some of our category changes in May, we made a bunch of changes in the collectibles and also the toy spaces. These were designed to help buyers find your items better, quite simply, adding new item specifics in the listing flows, being able to try and have our sellers enter those item specifics to make sure at the end of the day that your items are showing up better in Google searches versus having items solely rely on those item titles. And category structures, which can be fleeting at certain points and aren't indexing as well in Google. Next slide, please. But one of the most exciting things as well that came to bear with our May release was eBay venturing off into NFTs. So obviously NFTs picked up a lot of steam during the pandemic and are still hot today. And eBay now has certain category structures for the transactions of NFTs, for the buying and selling of NFTs. And luckily for us in the collectible space, the vast majority of them are in collectibles, whether it's art, sports cards, movies, music, emerging NFTs. So we really have built a platform for a vast majority of the true NFT categories in which we've seen a ton of goodness in. So I'm seeing a question, what's an NFT? Non-fungible token. So instead of receiving a physical good associated with an actual product. Someone will be receiving a digital variant of that, potentially physical item or non-physical item that can be transferred from wallet to wallet. And that's actually up on the blockchain, which provides folks, yeah, that's great, basically a digital image. In some instances, yes. In other instances, you actually have that in the blockchain, which can show ownership of who actually possesses that digital asset. So whether it's a CryptoPunk, a NBA Top Shot, a variety of different item types there, but eBay definitely embracing the new technologies and how we can be in the forefront of that and be able to bring buyers and sellers together. Next slide, please. Now to move on to some listing best practices. So of course, some of the folks here may know a lot of these, but it's always good to review just to make sure that your listings are up to snuff versus your competition. So typically we like to have a lot of photos, have a lot of good photos in your images and in your listings. So we do allow up to 12 photos. If you can possibly take and utilize all those 12, that's a great idea. We definitely want to make sure we're taking close-ups of corners and edges of products, see if there's any damages to boxes, see if there's any damages to corners or things of that nature. Highlight any defects and any potential issues. Really important for buyers to see any defects or potential issues with any particular item before they go to purchase. A lot of our purchasing is done now via mobile. So a lot of folks are trying to expand images and to be able to have that many photos and be able to have our buyers be more informed of what they're purchasing will go a long way for sellers. Also using a white background. Really, really important to have a kind of a plain white background. Helps index again when folks are looking and searching for your images. We also to use a light box or tripod. Really great suggestion. I actually have one here at my house when I shoot my trading cards. I use a light box, put a little stand there, just to, again, be able to show some of the details of the individual item to make it easier for our buyers at the end of the day to purchase our items as well. Very important also to not use filters. Great for Instagram, not great for selling items on eBay. Anytime you distort an actual image, can be very difficult for us to pick things up and actually will potentially end up hurting you in search. Then also we do have some minimum image requirements as well of 500 pixels, but you can also, again, enable zoom here with some really larger images so folks can zoom in, examine, especially for those higher priced collectibles items where folks really want to make sure the quality of those items are intact. Really, really important here for them to be able to zoom in, take a look, see if there's any defects, etc. And our example on the right-hand side there, you can see of something that we recommend not to do. So even though this is a lot of items, you can't really tell what you're getting. There's a hodgepodge of currency and coins and items that are certified and non-certified, really sometimes making it difficult for our buyers to tell what they're actually going to be purchasing. Next slide, please. Item specifics. So as speaking earlier about our item specifics and updates that we've made in May of this year, one of the categories that we changed around was the comics category. So obviously it's very important to have and utilize as many item specifics as possible. So the seller here did a great job filling out as many item specifics as possible, and that's going to help them index not only in search, but also when folks are looking for this particular title in Google. Hulk 181, one of my favorites, first appearance of Wolverine, really kind of iconic comic book out there, but they've got tons of information here between the title, their actual certification number from CGC, publication year. You could go down the list and list and list. To answer the question, should we be using fire emojis? No, actually, one thing that the seller did not do great here was actually using the fire emojis. We should not, please do not use emojis in your item titles. That will actually be a strike against you in search. So even though the seller did a great job, was 95% of the way there with their item specifics, the fire emoji of the title, not the best for indexing in search and even in Google. Next slide, please. Item titles. So another very important piece here, as we talked about, not having those emojis in those item titles as well, but there are up to 80 characters that we can use. We like to have as long of titles as possible within the 80 character limit. Put as much information as you possibly can in that item title itself, whether it's industry keywords, very good, a first appearance for comic books, the third-party authentication company that's associated with that particular item, whether it's CGC and comics, NGC, PCGS and coins. We really don't want to make sure that we use kind of keyword spamming, amazing, wow, look, hot, things of that nature. Again, that'll take a look at keyword spamming and will end up impacting how your listing shows up in eBay search and potentially elsewhere when folks are looking on Google for certain items. Next slide, please. And then just general description, best practices. So it does take a little effort sometimes to describe your item. The more information you can add in there, the better. So anything that is in item specifics, you can definitely still include that. It's still very important to include some of those items in there, whether it be the year or the certification ID number, the grade of a certain item. Also important if you're selling an open box or damaged items as well. If something is missing that's part of a set, very, very important to describe that item in detail. You also want to make sure that your shipping and handling information are in your description as well as just your policy pages. Again, as folks are, for the most of the time, browsing on their phones, we want to make it as easy as possible for them to take one look at a description, see the information there succinctly, by using bullet points or things of that nature, and then have them make a decision to purchase. And then we also don't want to be yelling at our customers. So for example, this Shohei Ohtani card, we took this snippet from a seller. Don't waste my time. This is my best price. Looking for best offers only. Not great message to be sending to your potential buyers out there. If you're yelling at them already before a transaction, how is it going to be during a transaction and after? So it could be a deterrent there as well. And then also talk a little bit about yourself and your business. If you have a kind of a template that you use for some of your listings, feel free to talk about how long you've been in business, etc. Can just give our buyers a better sense of exactly how long you've been there, what you're selling, and potentially some of your passion for these areas. Next slide, please. So future state of collectibles. As you can see, a lot of interesting images here. Of course, I point back to the Hulk 181, one of my favorite comic books with the first appearance of Wolverine. We are always looking for what's hot and in demand, whether that be Funko Pops, whether that be the latest, sports memorabilia collectible, or the hottest release from a toy shop, from Hasbro, what have you. We're all looking for those hot and in-demand items. And typically when you have those items that are either scarce in nature or picking up steam, like I can remember this year, Squishmallows were an absolute hit and really gained some steam earlier this year. And those were just hot and couldn't keep the listings up on eBay. Really something, if you can find pockets of goodness there, that really help your business accelerate. Holiday moments. So as we get into holiday, we're going to definitely have some focuses not only in our toy spaces, but also a variety of our other categories, whether it be sports memorabilia, collectible coins. I can think of potentially some stamp areas too, with specific USPS varieties of stamps. We really are digging into the holiday moments here and looking for that inventory that fits holiday, that can be giftable in nature, and gifts for everybody that is spanning their passions and loves in life. And we're also going to be investing in marketing and sponsorships. So we will actually be at New York Comic Con next week. eBay will have a booth presence there. We're really excited for that. Going to be a really great booth presence at New York Comic Con. Excited to see all the folks out there in New York City. We actually just also in September came back from Gen Con as well, which was great to see all of our tabletop gaming and collectible card game friends. And we were also at the National back in August, or back at the end of July, excuse me, for sports trading cards and sports memorabilia. So we're looking to be out there with our buyers and sellers, learning from everybody, taking in information, bringing that back, and then figuring out which ways, again, we can iterate on our tools and policies. So that's when we hear that feedback and take that back from us to our different partner teams and work on things like pricing changes in coins and bullion, adding eBay standard envelope to a variety of new categories like stamps, postcards, and coins and paper money. And then also updating policies, like what the trading card game team has already done for some of their returns policies. So we're very excited to take some of those learnings, now expand them out to our other collectibles categories. And then last but not least, really great new kind of, I'll call it a tool, a feedback loop that we've actually just launched starting over the summer. It's actually a new voices campaign just specifically for collectibles, where I am actually hearing your feedback via forums, able to then respond. I'll actually be responding tomorrow to a set of feedback from folks, and looking forward to responding to some of the suggestions that are in there. So please take advantage of that opportunity to go and give us feedback. We're really looking forward to it, and we generally take that feedback from you all that provide it, and then give you the opportunity to really impact and change and help with some of our policies. I think that was it, Michael. Yeah, time for Q&A.
Yeah, Steve, stick around, and Nicole, you as well. So thank you so much for doing this extra session, and thank you to any sellers out there who attended eBay Open and wanted to learn a little bit more about collectibles beyond the trading card. You know what? I was watching the chat while you were speaking, Steve, and there's so much chatter about NFTs. And that turned into a conversation around the difference between modern digital collectibles versus, antique, I would say traditional collectibles, like your comic books or antiques or I don't know, what have you. And I think the question in there for me, the nugget is, how do you guys think, Stephen or Nicole, whoever wants to answer it, how do you guys think about adding a new category, collapsing categories? How do you think about when something new emerges as a collectible, something no one's ever thought before, integrating it into the approach that we already have on the site?
Yeah, that's a good one, Rebecca. And I think NFTs are a really good example of something that we saw out there in the kind of mass world outside of just sometimes our eBay bubble, and decided, hey, this is something that we knew was going to gain some momentum, was going to gain some steam, and we need to be a part of it. So I think when there are these new opportunities for us, we are always looking to add either a new emerging technology, or either embrace a maybe we'll call it older collectible that has returned to prominence. So there's always opportunities for us to add and expand our category set.
Interesting. Nicole, I saw you come off mute. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what Steve said. And I'll just say that we have the advantage at eBay's of seeing trends oftentimes before we actually see it in our listings and see it in our sales, because we can often see key searched words. So sometimes we'll see things pop up and we're like, what's a squishmallow? And then suddenly it's like, okay, it's huge. It's this new trend. So oftentimes we can see that things are coming ahead of time. And so we're looking for obviously embracing that. And then of course, figuring out how do we put it into our structure? How do we support it? I see a lot of questions here about like more of the vintage categories too. And that's highly important as well. So, we want to embrace everything, right? We want to be there for all collectors and anything that people are looking to buy and sell. And whether it's that something that like there's tons of people are buying it every day, or it's that long tail item that just completes someone's perfect collection, like that's the beauty of eBay, and we want to have it all. So, we're looking for the ways to support all those different types of businesses within the ecosystem.
Interesting. So here's a question. I think it's putting you on the spot, and it's okay if this isn't something you can share, but can you share, like, just roughly percentage wise, how much of the collectibles is about trading cards and comic books, and how much is everything else? It's okay if that's business, if that's a business info that you can't share, but I think it's an interesting question from Kathy.
So I can't give you exact numbers.
Yeah.
But I can say we have a huge collectibles portfolio, and trading cards is just one segment of it, and comics is one segment of it. What I will say is you've probably seen us doing a lot of visible work and initiatives that are like trading cards first. And that's kind of the way we're approaching the company as a whole. We're kind of leaning into certain categories, building certain tools and features, and then expanding that to other categories. And so you've probably seen that, those of you who might be fashion sellers, like first leaning into sneakers or leaning into luxury watches, and then figuring out how to expand that to handbags and expand it to other items of clothing. And in the collectible space, we started first with trading cards, which, as I'm sure you all know, is a very hot market. And so we're first launching some features there and then expanding into other categories. So ideally, like all of these great features that we're launching will be supported for the entire collectibles portfolio, where they make sense and where they can support those businesses.
I love that. It's like a learn and expand model. That's really great. And as Jordan said during eBay Open, I believe that for many of these categories, buyers in trading cards, they don't only buy trading cards, they buy across multiple categories. And so we're keeping a good eye on that as well. Now, Steve, I have another question for you or Nicole. Let's talk about grading. Do you guys think about grading comics, games, toys, cards, anything like that? Is it something that we can get a peek into the future around, or is it not on the table?
So I will say, in general, grading is becoming more a part of a majority of collectibles and toys categories. We see it every day just with the sheer number of items that are listed in that way and sheer number of items that are purchased in that way. So I'd say we are definitely excited to see where grading goes. There are definitely some established players in a variety of our businesses and also folks that are looking to disrupt these areas as well. So we definitely have a very keen eye on grading in general, but we're definitely seeing a penetration even into some businesses that you wouldn't think grading would be interesting. We're starting to see graded Funko Pops. Obviously, video games have been a hot and trending graded item as well, versus some of our more traditional graded items in categories like coins and trading cards, comic books, etc. So it seems like grading is definitely here to stay and just going to expand even further and further. Like I can see a world where VHS tapes are going to be graded very soon, and anything that could be deemed collectible will be encased and put a number grade associated with it.
Great, thank you. So one last question. Again, I'm going to put you on the spot. It's a personal question. Is there something that you guys collect? I personally collect vintage self-published cookbooks. The kind that are published by ladies' auxiliaries back in 1922. Steve, what do you collect?
I'm a huge trading card fanatic. To my bank account's detriment, but I just got some items in today. I don't know if you can see it in my background, but some just great trading cards I picked up. I've got, stacks and stacks now. Got back in the hobby in like 2018. So right before the boom.
Great. Nicole, is there anything that you collect?
Yeah, I've saved, I was a big collector when I was a kid. So I saved my collections from when I was a kid, which is actually proving to be beneficial now. One of them is a Garbage Pail Kids. So you can probably guess my age by looking at that one, but I have a huge Garbage Pail Kids collection, which I share with my sister. And then I also have these little collectible Smurf figurines. I don't know if any of you are in your 40s, you might know those too. They're very, very popular. So I have a huge collection of those, which I'm saving for my kids. And so every now and then I'll find something to add to it on eBay.
That's great. Well, let me thank you again one more time for taking the time to come here and talk to us about the vast array of collectibles here on eBay, from Beanie Babies to NFTs and beyond. And then the last thing that I'll say before we wrap up is, when I was reading the chat and reading the Q&A, I saw a lot of questions about shipping, a lot of questions about the eBay Standard Envelope program. And I wanted to let everyone who is watching know that we will collect those questions. We'll go through them and, figure out which ones kind of popped. And I'm going to go back to the shipping team and see what answers we can get for you, compile them and figure out how to get them back to you, probably via one of our social channels, whether it's a video on YouTube or Facebook. I'm inventing this concept right now, but we definitely hear you that you have shipping questions, and we will do our very best to get some answers that will apply to many people, and really definitely about the ESC questions. I see that that's a question, and we'll do our very best to get back to you about it. Okay, so with that, it looks like we have hit the mark exactly. It's 3:00 Pacific. I want to thank everyone so much for staying on the extra time, for being here today. Thank all of our speakers. And above all, on top of everything else, Thank you, sellers. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this afternoon, this evening. Thank you for your interesting, challenging questions, not all of which we could answer here today, but every single one of which we've read. And thank you so much for your partnership and for selling on eBay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much for being here today. Happy fall, and thank you. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your evening. Thank you.